welcome to today's Bone Shell and Crystal reading. So it's a little bit later than I said it would be, so I do apologise for that. And oh, I forgot some of the bones, so I'll just grab them. But yeah, if you haven't had a reading, please do let me know. We are still trying to get through everyone, get through people who have not had a chance yet. So it's lovely to see you, to have you in. If you have had one already, then that's great. You're very welcome here. But we are going to prioritise those who have not had a reading at all yet, a bone reading at all. So if you have had one, yeah, just give other people a chance for now. Just a few more of the bones there that I've forgotten. So sort these out. So let's see who we have in. Okay, Ankita, I don't believe you've had one. I think we keep missing each other. Oh, the only thing I've forgotten is a pen. Bear with me. I'll write a list. One moment. Okay, I have a pen. I'm back with a pen. Okay, Ankita will be first on the list. Healing Tarot. I think I keep missing you for readings, so hopefully you can be on for this one. But I think I keep missing you. Sadia, I'm very well. I hope you are well. That's Sadia. Follow BC, hello and welcome. Oh, it's nice to have some different people in. I don't think we have anyone who's already had one, so that's great. Rain, of course. Wolfie, of course. Okay. Leela, hello and welcome. You are someone who has already had a bone reading recently. So we are prioritising people who haven't had one at all yet, since it's still pretty new. That doesn't mean you will never get one again. It just means that we give a little bit of time until the next one. Like, it's probably best to wait like a month or something until you get another one, because they are quite general and quite broad. So it will come up too samey to get it too soon together. So maybe in next month's ones, we can start again, and anyone who had one this month can go ahead and have another. Again, yes. So, or last month, I should say. Anyone who had one in September could go ahead and get one next month, as a month would have passed for them. Maybe you guys, you'll wait until December? Yes, December. That'll be better for you guys. So, our list at the moment, we have Ankita, but then we have Rain, because we are prioritising the members at the moment. I did say I would do a members only. Thank you, Esleela, I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, it's just about how soon they are. If they're too soon, they'll be too samey. So it's just a good way to give other people a chance. So Ankita and Rain are first. That's the, sorry, first two. I'm just giving members priority because I kept saying I would do members only of certain streams, and we didn't really get round to that. So it will be Ankita, Rain, Healing Tarot, Sadia, Flower Beauty, and Wolfie Baby Doll. That's the list so far. If I've missed anybody, Liverpool, yes, of course, you can be added. Now, these ones do take quite a while, so I tend to get through less a stream of these, but we'll see within the time frame we have. We'll see how many we can get through. I really will do my best to get through what I can, and of course we can add people as we go if more people join in. And yeah, so I'll explain a bit about it for people who may not know anything about it. So there are different kind of cultures and religions in the world that do use different kinds of parts of animals and, you know, shells and crystals and things like that for divination. It's not very popular in the kind of new age and spiritual communities, and even witchcraft. It's much more common to use crystals for even maybe bones and shells as well, but for manifestation, not so much for readings, not rarely. And there is a thing, a kind of type of reading that I do kind of take a bit of inspiration from with this, which is a voodoo based thing. But don't worry, guys, voodoo just as the religion, not as, you know, it being taken over fully for dark magic. Voodoo at its base level of the religion that it was before. It has a lot of negative connotations, you know. So I do take a little bit from that, but mostly this is a complete uh, I would say channeled. I don't like to say the word made up because it makes it seem like it's not real, if that makes sense. But it is a perfectly valid way to read. You know, it's like if you created your own tarot deck and then you began to read with it and then you began to realize it made sense. It was giving good readings, you know? It's that kind of thing. It's like, yes, I did kind of invent it, but in a inspired and channeled and intuitive way. Intuitive way is probably the best way to say it. So we have bones, shells, crystals, and they're all included. Excuse me. They're all included within the reading. So I generally in a full whole reading, I will include all crystals, all shells, and all bones. But for this reading on stream, because it does take a while, it really does take a while. I try to well, you try to be quick, but I try to, you know, not be too slow, basically. Um, and so what I'd usually do is I'd choose 3 bones, 3 shells, and maybe 6 crystals, just to try to make the reading a little bit quicker. I might minimize in some readings, maybe just 2 shells, maybe 5 crystals, something like that, just to try to minimize it a little bit. You know, most of the readings on stream are kind of samples anyway. It's not as in depth as you would get it if you were buying a one-on-one session, you know. Um, so just to explain a little bit about it anyway, it is, you won't really see anybody else doing this. The casting mat, there are casting mats that exist like this. You can't see the sections, like this is finance and wealth, this is career and business, this is home and family. You will see casting mats pretty similar to this in their layout, because I did get inspiration from one that I saw online for the layout. But I created it entirely myself, as some of you know, because you were on the stream where I made it. So that's why the titles aren't great yet. I need a better fabric pen for it, but it keeps getting better. We keep improving it. So I may minimize a little bit the amount of things we use today. It might not go 3, 3, 6. It might go like 2, 2, 4 or something like that, just to see how I can time myself, pace myself a bit better for stream, because I do find that a lot of people in the older streams anyway, this stream seems to be quite quiet and quite chill, so that's okay. But in the 2 or 3 previous streams last month, We did have people waiting for a long time, so we'll just see how it goes. We'll just kind of go with the flow with it. Ella, I made it this time. Not sure how it works. But could I please get a reading? Yes, so I'll add Ella as well. So it'll be Ankita, Rain, and then Ella. We're doing members first. Members priority on the stream, so it's nice to see 3 members come in. So Ankita, Rain, Ella, Healing Tarot, Sadia, Flower Beauty, Wolfie Baby Doll, and then Liverpool 30. Done. So yes. So if you do want to know any more about it, that's just going to come with me doing a reading and showing it basically. So what might be a bit more unusual to you is you might not know specific types of crystals, or you may not know what we have here. So we have the chicken's foot, we have the antler, we have a sheep tooth, a fox tooth, and a buffalo tooth. So yeah, we have a few strange things. Oyster shell is the big shell, Shiva shells, the heart-shaped, heart-carved shell, and then we have the crystals as well. So yeah, so I think I'll try. So I'll begin with Ankita. So like I said, guys, if there's a specific bone, shell, or crystal that you really don't want or really do want included in your... Yeah, you did say your name was Sarah. I'm so sorry. I refer to the list by usernames just in case. Just in case. Not that anyone else will have the same username as you, but for people who have more just their names as their usernames, sometimes we do get 2 in the chat. So I make a habit of referring to people by their YouTube name, so I apologize for that. I will call you Sarah. Excuse if my voice is going a little bit as well. Kind of getting a little bit of a cold. Tends to happen as we shift to this much colder weather in this country. I should be okay. I'm feeling okay. But yeah, need to remember to drink a lot more water when I'm doing a lot of talking. So let me just read here. Nikita, I have been really upset these days. Everybody I love ignore or gets upset with me. Also, I have huge downfall in studying. I don't know what to ask. Please read. Okay, so the the bone reading generally it is a general reading, and when I have the better fabric pen and you can see the sections, you will understand a little bit more why it is a general reading, because it covers so much. You have your health and well-being there, you have your home and family, you have the finance sections there, you have the social section and the love section, you have advice and guidance, and you have spirit and self. So there is a lot that goes into it, but we can try to look at it from that point of view. So where you're saying so feeling quite down, we do have kind of like health. This is kind of like a mental health, this is kind of like a physical health base stone. We do have our more root chakra grounding stones, a stone that does tell us where we need to focus or study. So we do have stones that maybe more root chakra energies, like root chakra stones, are a little bit better for that kind of issue, that kind of thing. And also the bismuth. If the bismuth is upright, it shows us, not projecting, being promoted or being going upward trajectory in some way. So if it's lied on its side in the reading, it might tell us something else. So that might be a good one to have as well. And it sounds a little bit maybe, let's see. This one, is that the one you wanted? Yeah, no, if there's one that you guys definitely want or definitely don't want, you're very welcome to choose it. I was just trying to go to be helpful along with your kind of questions and your input. I feel like these will be good for you, but if you do want that one added, you're very welcome to say that. If that's the one you were feeling, you're all very welcome to say that, and that might In fact, let's do that instead of the smoky quartz. I think that might be a bit better. I think they are the ones. But let's see what you said in the bones. You said. Yeah. So I think we'll do these two, and this one. And then in the shells, I think we will do. I think we'll do these, which is unusual. I usually always use the Shiva shell and the oyster, so it'd be nice to do something a bit different here. Okay, so this is Ankita. So generally, I would hold Ankita's hand before I do this, or even allow Ankita to drop the stones herself. But what we do, so we hold them all together, not too far from the mat. We don't want to break any of them if we can help it. We hold them a nice distance, and we throw them to kind of where we feel. Drop your hands how you feel they should be dropped. Some people even feel like going like that, on the mat, and that's fine. So the first thing I'm noticing here is the what you can't see. If I turn you this way, maybe if I can. One of them did just fall off the edge. Point to it. You can see that. It did just about fall off the edge. It's still on the lace, so I might still include it. I might just push it onto the very, very edge and maybe think about including that if I feel drawn to, if it resonates to, as we get that. Okay, but let's look at what else we have. So, for these readings, we begin with so they all have their unique sections, and I will keep going on about the sections on the way through because I know you can't read them. I know I need the fabric pen very bad, but generally, this center is like the here and now, and the further we get along these ribbons, these lines, that's more distant future. So more towards the edge of the mat is more distant future, more distant as we go like that. So you do have a lot in the kind of very near, at least, and then as it spans out just a little bit, maybe these are a bit more distant, maybe these a bit more distant, but nothing is too far away apart from, like I mentioned, the one that pretty much fell off the edge. So, first of all, social and friends. So I want to look at the social and friends section first because I'm saying that because the stone of clarity is there. The stone of clarity is in the social and friends section, which makes me want to look at it first because of how close the clarity is to where we are now. Because that's really interesting, because if we're going through a lot of issues, if we're going through a lot of issues, and we're struggling, even if it's not that things aren't clear, maybe things are really, really clear to you, but it's like you keep trying and you're not getting to where you need to be, we want resolution. We want, any uncertainty, anything that needs to clear from us, anything that we need to be more sure about, and things like that. We really do want the clarity or the confusion or the hesitance or whatever it might be to really clear as quickly as possible. And getting clarity within the centerpiece, this yin yang sun and moon is the centerpiece. So if you get the clarity within there, it's really showing your potential for that clarity to come around you quite quickly and quite soon. And even though it's in the centerpiece, the section it's in here is the social and friendship section. So there could be clarity around the issues and the things that challenges you're having, or the things that you're facing at the moment. Clarity could come from the friend group, or some level of social group. Sometimes that might be the classmates or the workmates, or the I don't know, housemates, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the best friends. It could be friends in a certain group, housemates, classmates, workmates, something like that. But some level of social connection that you feel close to, close enough to feel comfortable around, because they're going to give you some kind of clarity. So it could be really good advice. It could be really good, yeah, like really good advice and tips and guidance would generally be the right thing, the most prominent thing we would usually see with this, but could even just be pushing you in the right direction. You know, maybe they suggest you to come to a certain place or to do a certain thing, and then it unfolds the path for you in a much clearer and better way. So I think not discounting the advice and guidance and input of our friends and social circles at the moment is very important. It seems very important, especially in this imminent, kind of very near future time frame. And that's interesting because our actually the focus stone. So this stone is, it's about what to really focus on, and it also does suggest study as well usually. So it's telling us what to really focus on. Again, really focus on your friends and your social circles. So do not be discounting any advice they might give you. Do not be discounting any help that they might give you, even if that advice might be something that you don't expect, like take a break and come back next year to it next year. You know, it could be something. I'm not saying that's what the advice is, but it could be something really crazy that you just think just sounds wrong. But if you take it, you might realize it's the right advice, you know? So it won't necessarily sound like the right advice when they're saying it, but when you take it, it's going to really help. But also, this stone is usually telling us where to focus, so that's on the friends in the social circle, but it's usually also telling us what to study, like that we should be back in study or go back to study, or there's something about study coming up. Taking another course, delving a bit more into something more to do with study. So it's interesting that it's coming up now for you, when, you know, usually it would land in maybe career and business, and we might see, oh, maybe we should do a course about career and business. Or maybe it would land in the spirit section, and it would be like, oh, maybe I should do a course on heightening my spiritual abilities so I can do that as a job, you know. Or maybe it might land in home and family, and it's like, oh, maybe I might do a course on DIY or something that I want to do around the house, you know? It's something like that. It depends where it lands. So it's interesting that the course is landing in the social and friends, because it could be, I mean, it could be like a social media course. It could be, you know, something that revolves around social energy in general, and not necessarily your social circle, but the social energy in general. So it could be that you're going down that path of amplifying the social media energies, social energies in the way of course, being a course, learning about that um, on a deeper level. We all know about social media, but if you take a course, you're knowing about it on a more deeper level, in a monetary sense, you know. But it could just be that the guidance that the friends are giving you clarity to could shine a light on what you need to learn, or where you need to learn, where you need to learn, or what you need to be studying, and things like that. So it doesn't always have to be exact about what the section is. It could be that the friends are giving you clarity on what you need to focus on. So maybe it is something totally unrelated to social media. Maybe it is, you know, something you're already doing, already trying to do. But maybe they're just giving you clarity, pushing you in the right direction, pushing you on that right path to get there better, to get there sooner, or to get there in a more relaxed and less stressful way. But either way, the friends are very important about it. They're very important on the path of learning and growing. So you could be learning and growing not in a strict work study type sense as well, just by learning about people, you know, maybe learning about your friends, getting to know your friends on a deeper level, and really learning about what it is to socialize, how you fit into your certain social circles, you know? So it can be that as well. Sometimes the learning isn't always in like an institutionalized learning way. It can be reading books or teaching yourself something, you know? Sometimes people will get this in maybe their like the hobbyist type section, and they will maybe it'll be about just teaching themselves to learn an instrument or something like that. But you also have in your social and friendship section, you also have the health stone. So this health stone is linked to your physical health. So it shows that there could be something coming up, or there could be something that needs focus on your physical health. Now, it's not to scare people when the physical health stone comes up, because the physical health stone is used in many readings for many different people, and it can land in many different ways. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to come to like a horrible health thing, you know. But when it lands in our social and friendship section, it can be something like our friends might encourage us to go to get checked up, you know, if we seem to have some symptoms, they might encourage us, or they might even be like within the health realm themselves, and they might just give advice on health things, you know. So you might not actually go to see a doctor, but they might just give advice, and it's usually a positive omen surrounding with health. Most prominently, it does depend what other things kind of land around it, and you know, are we, if, for example, if we chose the smoky quartz and this landed near it, it shows us something unclear about our health that we're not being shown, which could show like an underlying condition or something. But of course, we didn't choose that stone and they didn't land together. But I'm just explaining how it's generally a positive omen, especially if it comes on its own like this, just in one section. But your friends might enlighten you to something, or even they might just get you onto a really good diet, or you know, link you up with a really good personal trainer, or a good gym, or a good person online to learn diet diets or exercise routines. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry, diets or exercise routines. So it could be really, really positive omen with that, where your friends are kind of helping you onto a more healthy path, more healthy and prosperous path. So the health does look good to me where it's landing, and in the section that's in, I didn't really feel anything negative from it. But it's always a good idea if the friends do, you know, maybe they do recognize you have a symptom and they say, oh, go to the doctors, you know, maybe do take their advice, is all I would say. But let's look first, before we go to where most of the stones have landed in this kind of area, which is love and partnership and advice and guidance. But let's first look at the career, at the antler, because these are all pointing. So the antler points, the pointing shell points, and the chicken foot does kind of point. I'll tell you why it kind of points in a moment. But our antler begins a career in business, and it goes through finance and wealth. So it's in career and business, finance and wealth, and then it's just pointing out at health and well-being. So that's interesting as well, especially because it's it's kind of starting in a pretty similar kind of area to this, but I suppose it gets it gets better, it gets closer to you, but it's starting at a similar structure there. So we're starting in career and business, and we are wandering our way down through finance and wealth to health and well-being. Now, this is usually something that we have to have a gentle discussion about. So we do have to have some kind of discussion, or some kind of, we have to express ourselves, because it's like discussion or self-expression in some way, but it's very gentle. We have to be very kind with and gentle. It's not like, you know, shouting, being in a debate, arguing, you know, saying things in an impolite way that might cause someone else to start an argument. It's just not needed with with this with the antler, because the antler really wants us to talk gently and to really make sure that we're getting to the heart of the matter by really being as gentle and as polite, but as open though. So there's truth and honesty with it, but it's not like dancing around it, but it's just being as kind as possible with it. But begins in career and business. So it could be that you want to talk about something to do with finance and wealth or career and business. There could be an important person that you need to discuss your path of career and business and finance and wealth with. There could be multiple people, you know. Sometimes this does resonate with talking to multiple people, you know. It can be talking to friends, family, but it can also be talking to the appropriate advisors in these kind of, you know, whether that's like teachers or finance advisors or mortgage advisors or whatever it might be, depending on what you're seeking financially. So you do have to think about what your goals are financially and who you would have to talk to get some kind of organization written up or something that you're really looking for in the finance and wealth or business and career way. So, you know, maybe it's that you have this idea of a career and business path that you want to go down. You know that you have to do this, this, and this to get there. And in that path of this, this, and this, there are a few people you have to talk to. So it's all about being gentle with them, being kind, being caring, and being open with them in order to get there. But it's pointing to your health and well-being. It's pointing to the health and well-being section, which is interesting because we've had our health and well-being stone in our social and friendship section. So it's pointing to our health and well-being section though. So you may have to be very, very mindful of your own health, physical health and mental health, um, in 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 response to or in relation to the career and business and finance and wealth path that you want. So are you doing something that's causing you too much stress? Are you heading towards a path that might cause you too much stress? Do you need to have maybe this gentle discussion you need to have with yourself? It isn't always with other people, it can be with yourself. You know, is this really what I want for my career and business? Is this really what I want for my finance and wealth? Um, is it going to be good for my health and well-being? Because we seem to have a positive omen in health and well-being, so that's nice. But does this clarity open up what we need to be focusing on, and then that in turn relieves some stress from us, so our health and well-being becomes well, you know. So, so we do have to think about that. If the things we want in our career and business are too stressful, do we have to think about that? Are they impacting my health and well-being too much? Might have to think about how they impact it. And it's not necessarily that, oh, they impact my health and well-being too much, I'm just going to leave them. But it could be this idea of balance. Like, yeah, okay, I'm going to really have to balance. I'm going to really have to focus on my health and well-being a bit more than I have been. Look after myself and self-care a bit more than focusing on my career at the moment. And in the section of health and well-being, we also have a pointing shell, which is coming from the health and well-being section, but it's pointing us to home and family. So it's pointing us to home and family. So it can indicate that some health and well-being issues that you're having or that you will have as you progress may be home and family related. So if health and well-being issues are home and family related, that can mean if home and family are impacting your health and wellness, that could mean that it's actual family. Like if you have people who are stressful in your family, they might cause you stress and cause your mental health to not be great. But it can also be the home as well. Are you not living in the right location? Are you looking to move house? Is it that push to move home? Because it's not always the family, it's not always other people's fault if we don't feel great. It can be the home, it can be the location, it can be that we want somewhere sunnier, we want somewhere closer to our job, or we want somewhere, and just the location that we really love. So you have to think about the location when we're being told this. But ultimately, the shell is pointing to the chicken leg, and the chicken leg is a really positive omen. It's a really positive omen for luck in the section that it lands in. So home and family. So home and family. So any positive improvements with home, location, safety, security, what location you might want to live in, what home you might want to live in, and positive omen surrounding the family. So whether that's your family or you making a new family, like building a family, it can be either. But very, very positive omen and good luck around the family. So if there have been issues around the family, that maybe they have been affecting your health and well-being a little bit, that's okay because it's a very positive omen now about things that maybe they improve, maybe they get better. But the other side of the chicken foot is the claws. So the claws are to grasp away things that are negative towards us. So you have the claw landing in spirit and self. So it does show some level of maybe psychic attack or something, or it could even be, because in the spirit it would be psychic attack, but in the self it would be negative self-talk. So it could be negative thoughts of your own that are impacting you, but it could be a psychic attack. But you're getting protection from these now. These are going to be grasped away from you, flung away from you. So if you're having a negative self-talk in this current chapter, that will go away. And if you're having any psychic attacks in this current chapter, that will go away. And that's not too distant future, so that's really nice. So we're left with these two sections that have the most in them. So let's take a look at those. It's love and partnership, and it's advice and guidance. So in advice and guidance, we have the, I forget what this shell is called, but this shell is, in advice and guidance, it is mostly in advice and guidance, but it does touch on spirit and self a little bit, which is interesting. Because depending on how this lands, it's telling us either what we are not listening to, or what we need to listen more to, or keep our ear out for, if that makes sense. So this is more like something you're not listening to. So there's very positive advice and guidance surrounding you. It might even be this positive advice and guidance from friends that's trying to bring you clarity in the current moment. It's like you're not listening to it. There's a positive advice and guidance, and you're not listening to it. But also, it's on the line of the spirit and self. So it might even suggest that you're not hearing the messages from your guides as clearly as you could be as well. It seems more like it's to do with physical people, like friends, but there could be some guides that are trying to get through as well, where that is kind of over the line there. But mostly actual people in your life. But we have the buffalo tooth, so that's interesting. And it's interesting because it's next to it. Now, the buffalo tooth is usually about something where we need to talk up. We need to discuss our feelings very clearly. We need to step into our power. We need to stand for what is right, that we believe in. We need to stand for what we believe in, basically. So it could be that you're not listening because you feel like they're against what you believe in. So this is definitely where we would say you need a softening. The buffalo tooth is usually much more about, it is the high energy. It is that kind of stepping into my power, but it's divine feminine power a lot of the time. It doesn't have to be like really strong or aggressive, but it is in divine power. But the divine feminine can listen, can talk very clearly and wisely, but can also listen when it's needed. And I think that's the message from the buffalo tooth in this section, is that maybe you do stand for what you believe in, and maybe you are very firm in your beliefs, but maybe it's just listening to others, and that maybe they challenge those beliefs a little bit. Because the tooth in the reading it's always about talking, but it's always about listening as well. And that is also what the divine feminine is about. When she talks very boldly, she does also listen. And I think that maybe that's just where you're missing a little bit. It seems like there's someone. It doesn't mean you don't listen to anybody, but there could be that one particular friend that is really giving the good advice that you need to listen to. So it does seem like there's one person that is in need of being listened to. So, and that's interesting because our other pointing shell was, I know I moved it a little bit, but was here. And it's in this section of the advice and guidance, but it's pointing to the study, the focus stone. So it really does seem like all of this kind of energy is surrounding some kind of advice and guidance about your work or study path, that you're just not quite getting the right advice and guidance. You're just not quite listening and talking correctly about this. Maybe you're not listening to the right person. Maybe you're talking but not to the right person. So yeah, I think that's the main thing from the reading. Although you have some good luck and protection and things like that, the main thing from the reading does seem to be the advice surrounding study and work. But let's look at our last two stones now. We have, because this one's very nice, we have so this one here is so where we saw the health stone there, this is the mental health stone. This is about the self-esteem, releasing of anxieties, um, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, self-value, and any anxieties or fears that you hold. Sorry. So the reason I can't speak. The reason why I'm saying releasing of anxieties and releasing of fears rather than saying that there are fears is because of the way that the bismuth has landed. You have the bismuth landed the way that we should want it to land, which is upright, which suggests very positive progression, which would say that this is a more positive aspect of the stone. So coming to realize your self-worth, self-value, self-confidence, and this is in the pretty near future. It's not too distant. We're getting more distance as we come out here. So it does look like, even if you're not feeling super confident right now, you are really, this is amplifying, we are getting there. But this is a really good one. This section is love and partnerships. So it might be a really positive love partnership that helps you with this. But either way, even if this is just a general progression that you do improve yourself, your confidence and self-worth, this is directly tied to the love and partnerships. So this is an upwards trajectory of a relationship. So, if you're single, you're meeting someone. If you've met them, you're getting into a relationship. If you're in a relationship, you're getting engaged. If you're engaged, you're getting married. It's just going up and up and up, higher, stepping higher and higher up to that commitment, up through steps, because that is the one that literally shows us. Stepping higher and higher up the steps of the bismuth. So yeah, that was Ankita. So I do apologise, I know that was a bit of a long one. They can take a while, it just depends on reading through the stones and how they come through. But that was Ankita, so let's get as many as we can get done. I know this does tend to be a longer stream because I really do need to minimize the amount of things I'm putting into the stream to make it shorter, which I think I might do. I will minimize. On the next one, I'll take away a few stones. Bear with me, let's see. So I don't think we have any moderators in here at the moment. Oh, Rain, I will save you for another time then if you need to sleep. I'm so sorry. Ascending Universal Butterfly, hello and welcome. Yeah, so I will add you. Okay, yeah, so we'll take a few more of the elements away for the next readings. Do we still have rain? Let's see if we still have rain, but rain can always be on the next one if needed. Healing Tara, okay, no worries. You can be a priority for next time. Next time I do a bone reading, I'll be on earlier. So what is your are you IST? Do we have Rain or Ella here? Kay Mason, hello, welcome. Oh, moving the tripod. Hello, welcome. I'm very happy to add you to the list. I think everybody has jumped out. So let's see. We'll just see who do we still have in who wants a reading, and I'll redo the list because I think a few people have jumped out because that one did take a bit of a while, so I do apologize about that. Oh, no worries, no worries, Ankita, that's fine. Yeah, so I hope that made sense. I think there was a few main things that were coming up. Um, a few main things. The positive omens with the family and the spirit and the self is good. I think it seems to be about intuitively finding the right people for the right advice, I would say. And not stressing yourself out too much as well. Definitely take some time for self-care and relaxation. Okay, so we have Liverpool still in, that's great. Or Sarah still in, sorry. So have Rain and Ella both gone? Yes, I've added you. I'll just say everybody's name, and if you're still here, can you please comment? Sadia, Flower Beauty, Rain, Wolfie Baby Doll, Sarah, who has already said, Ella, Ascended Universal Butterfly, who has already said, and Kane, who I think might still be here just at this time. Okay. We'll go straight with Liverpool then, because Liverpool would have been the next one. Yeah, it would be Liverpool, then Universal Butterfly, then Kane. So you free it in the list now. We'll see. I think Rain must have left, unfortunately. So Liverpool, Ascended Universal Butterfly, and then Kane. Seems to be the list now, but that's great. Yeah, so I'll take a few more elements away so it's not quite as long. I know I can blab on a little bit with these ones, so bear with me one moment. So I will do. So this is for Sarah. So I'm going to keep those three there. I'm going to keep those three there. I'm thinking, should I just do 5 crystals? Yeah, do these 5. Oh, Sadia, you are here. You are here. Okay, Sadia. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I think I'm coming down with a cold. But as long as I'm feeling okay, I will come on. So, but I do apologise for that. So we're doing Sarah at the moment, but Sadia, you can be next. Didn't know that you were still here. So it'll be Sarah, Sadia, Ascended Universal Butterfly, and then Keen. Okay. Oh, so our Foxtooth didn't want to be part of the reading. If it completely falls off the mat, I don't include it in the reading. Okay. Okay. So just looking where to start first. So let's look in this section because we do have, and this is for Sarah. So in this section, it's quite close to so we have the centerpiece, and then we have the time frame, from now until the near future, more distant future, as we go towards the edge of the mat. the further to the edge of the mat, the more distant future, basically. So it is nice to read things closer, more sooner. I mean, closer first, if that makes sense. But it just depends. It just depends because depends how I want to read it. Depends how it intrigues me and what comes up. But the sections. So we have the social and friends section, which is the first section I'm looking at. So it does seem like there's something that is not clear right now in this social and friends section. So it's more. So you have social and friends, and then you have love and partnership. Just so you know. So it is more social and friends, not necessarily a romantic partner. That's here in this section, but the smoky quartz is linked more to or something that isn't clear. It's like the wool being pulled over your eyes. It can be, I mean, it can be innocent. It can be like confusion, misunderstandings. It can be something innocent like that, but it's something that you need clarity on. There's something behind the scenes or something that's gone wrong in some way that you need closure on or clarity on or something like that. Um, and you might not notice. So maybe as I'm saying it, you're thinking, yes, there was a huge misunderstanding with a friend, or yes, there was what else did I say? Misunderstanding, confusion. I am really confused by the way someone's acted. Maybe it resonates, but if it doesn't, it could be on the worst side where we're seeing, deception coming through, someone telling lies, someone hiding something, brushing something under the rug because they they don't want you to. Maybe they know how you'll react if you find out, or maybe they, it can be, they don't want to hurt you and they're just doing the wrong thing by lying, keeping it a secret. We don't know their full intentions around it, but there's definitely something deceptive, something that isn't right. If it's not that more innocent, misunderstanding, confusion. So do bear that in mind. It can just be as innocent misunderstanding, confusion, but it can go deeper. There can be lies, there can be deceit when we have the smoky quartz come up. And this is in the social and friendship group. Social and friendship. So what we also see here is the love stone. So you have the love stone here as well. And this is further along. So looking at, this is in the more distant future for you. But it does look like a love person on your love path. Romance is strongly related to the social and friends group. So whether it's someone who you're currently only friends with and it's going to build to this loving connection, or whether it is that you'll meet through friends. Maybe this person's an associate of a friend, or a great friend of a friend. It could be that you meet through friends. It could just be the purpose that you meet is because of the friends. But it could be that they are a friend, and then you're beginning to build this relationship to something more. It's beginning to not be platonic anymore. I would say the more negative side of this one is you do have the bismuth here, and the bismuth suggests something that could really grow and really be really positive when it is the right way. It's suggesting elevating to a higher level, things going really, really positive, elevating, going really strong. But it's on its side, which it shows. Sometimes it can just be that there's potential for it to grow, but you're not quite tapping into that potential. So maybe it's potential for this romantic partner to become something more sooner. Maybe you're just not giving it that time of day. Maybe you're overlooking it. Maybe this is the thing that's a secret. Maybe the person who likes you is keeping you a secret, and you're so blind to it that that's why the potential is knocked over. It's not the right way up. It could be simply that, and it could be that. And so you want this to be upright, but until you realize who this person is, who you think is just a friend who likes you, it could be something like that. Um, so an opportunity for there's potential for something to grow into more than what it is. Something. So it could even be, if we're not linking it specifically to the love part, it could be another friendship. It could be that that there's someone who could really, a friend or someone in your social circle who could elevate your work path. Maybe like networking. They could help you to improve your monetary income. They could really help you. They could be a collaborator or someone who hires you or something like that. But you're not seeing it. You're not. It's not clicking into how they, or maybe it's not clicking for both of you. How you could both help each other in a collaboratory way. And when it does, this could go upright and you could really both excel and, make a lot of money. It could be something like that. So the thing that's hidden, that's kind of a nice way to explain as well, that the thing that's hidden isn't always bad. It can just be like, oh, how did we overlook that for so long? How silly of us, We've missed out on this opportunity because we overlooked this for so long. So yeah, it's definitely about having clarity, really trying to open your eyes to things, be a bit more aware of possibilities around you and things like that. Oh, it sounds terrible what I'm going to say. I was recently friends with someone who I have known for a long time, and he's distanced himself. So it could be coming back if there's distance, and that distance goes over a lot of time. It could even be that person coming back. But if that person comes back, then of course we're hoping that with an apology or with something real maybe. So I guess it depends how you would really want that to manifest. I don't want to say that this person is them. If we don't want that, if we want someone higher, someone better for this person. But I suppose that could be as well the confusion and the unclarity because maybe we're not seeing it as it should be seen, or maybe one person isn't seeing it as the other person is seeing it, that kind of thing. So next we'll look at the love and partnership section because we're getting a lot of kind of love, kind of connection, friendship messages anyway. So come over to the love and partnership section where we have that stag antler. So we're being told to gently, quietly, calmly discuss things with someone else or even with ourselves sometimes with this one. So it's heading rarely from the love and partnership to advice and guidance. But it does, if you look, it's just over the line. It's just over the um Ernest Robertson, hello and welcome. If you're very happy to wait, I can add you to the list. There's not many people on it now. I think we have 4 people on it. So you're very welcome. You probably will get a reading. And hello and welcome. I'm Venus, and this is Secret Frequencies. But I'll just have to finish this reading first. But yeah, you can sit back and enjoy if you would like to. So this, of course, the centerpiece here between this section here is between social and friends and love and partnerships. And it just begins on the center of that, which that kind of sounds interesting to me with a friends with benefits kind of thing, because it's starting directly in between friends and romance, the friends and the romance. So it's kind of like it's on the edge. So could that be related to what you're talking about here? But so the stag horn, it does go straight through those love partnerships, and it comes to advice and guidance. So it may be telling you to seek advice and guidance surrounding this. It may be telling you to, you know, go a bit deeper because there might be more available to you surrounding this situation. This might not be a be all and end all situation. It might not be completely gone forever. There might be more abilities or possibilities with it. So it could be that there is potential, there is possibilities there, and maybe the advice and guidance can even come from just honestly talking to each other when that time comes, if that time comes. But it can even be, like I said, with this one, it is sometimes gently and talking just to yourself, like being very honest with yourself. It can involve taking rose tinted glasses off. It can involve doing actual lists of pros and cons and just weighing them up very honestly, with yourself. But advice and guidance generally, we are seeking advice and guidance from others as well. Whether that's friends, whether that's tarot readers, it could be anything like that as well. But it's interesting how it starts on that line there. But that's generally what it's about. So you might want some advice and guidance. And maybe, you're like, oh, well, I'm totally over that person. But maybe it's advice and guidance for what should my next move be? What are my pros and cons and what do I want? Because do I want the same situation again? Do I want friends with benefits? maybe not. So could even just be that, not in a way to discuss it to get back with them, but to discuss it to know exactly what you want next time. So then we also have the sunstone, which is our high abundance stone. But our abundance stone, so our abundance stone, no matter where it lands, can pertain to financial abundance, but generally it's more talking about an abundance of the thing that it's landed in. So here it's landed in love and partnerships. So what it's actually saying is an abundance of love. It's more like an abundance of love is coming your way. And it's, of course, it hasn't landed right in the centre. We have a little bit of time, a little bit of a time frame as we head out towards the edge of the mat. But abundance of love generally, there's always a possibility of some money with the stone, but an abundance of love. I mean, sometimes it could be, if the abundance stone lands in the love section, maybe you meet someone who has a bit of money, for themselves, or who's doing well with money, or who's, something like that. Or maybe they're into finance, they're in the finance realm, who knows. But generally it's an abundance of love because you've got it in that section. Now you also have the focus stone in this section, if you can see it. I think I pushed it a little bit because it's quite at the edge, but you also have the the focus section in your love and partnership realm. So it can be sometimes to do with taking courses or studying or even teaching yourself things. But I don't really relate that when it's in the love section, unless you really did want, unless your dream was to be like a counselor or a life coach or relationship coach. Maybe we'd say, okay, you need to do some courses in that, you need to get a bit of, qualifications or experience at least behind you with that. But generally, when the focus stones lands in this section, it's really just telling us to keep focus on this section. The love and relationships might be becoming a bit more long term, more vibrant, more proper, more real in your life. So being told to really focus on that path and not let things sway you too much from that path. And interesting that it's kind of in line with the love person coming in there. It's very similar time frame that when you're being told to focus. So focus on that person, maybe when they come in, you'll intuitively know, you're the one I should really be focusing on. So let's move on to the chicken foot, because we like that one. It's a positive omen, it's good luck. So advice and guidance there, and spirit and self there. So advice and guidance. So this is very close to the current chapter, the current chapter. You're getting a positive omen. So it's a positive omen, usually about what it lands in, but it can always be a positive omen surrounding money, or sorry, not really money, but luck in general. So general luck, so surrounding all areas, with the chicken foot. So we are seeing general good luck coming up there. But in advice and guidance, you're getting good luck as well. So this could be, finding the right people to give you advice, those right friends and family members, or even therapists and healers if they're the route you're going down. You're going to have good luck about the people you're seeking your advice from. You're not going to be drawn to negative people who tell you the wrong things, basically. So good luck in that field, but also good luck in the spirit and self. But this is particularly pertaining to protection, because the claw end of the chicken foot is about protection, or grasping things and kind of destroying things that were to bring you harm. So in your spirit and self. So anything that's trying to harm you, or especially you on a spiritual level, energy vampires, psychic attacks, curses, hexes, anything like that, you have strong spiritual protection here, which is very, very nice. But let's look at our shells, who all seem to land in a similar kind of section. So we have our oyster shell. Well, let's look first. First, we have the shell you can't see very clearly, but it's in health and well-being, and that is so. When this shell is closed down, it's telling us that we're not listening to something we need to listen. When it's upright, it's telling us that maybe we are listening. It might be that you are listening to the right to health and well-being advice. You might be seeking out the right healing, modalities, whether it's doctors and nurses, or some kind of spiritual modalities, whether it's Reiki cleansers, whether it's just eating right, whether it's like personal trainers, things like that. It looks like what you're looking at and what you're seeking out is right. You might just need to do more of it. The shell landing this way, the shell landing this way, if you can see it, it's amplifying what you already know, what you're already doing, what you're already listening to, and it can even suggest you talking about it too. So if you wanted to be in the health and well-being kind of realm yourself, maybe it's something you need to talk up a little bit about too. But it could just be keep doing what you're doing, keep listening to what you're listening to. You're going down the right path here. But it could be that you might want to go down that path, that realm as well. But certainly to not close yourself off to health and well-being. So don't close yourself off to your own health, well-being and healing path and journey. Whether that is mental health, physical health, spiritual health, whatever path you're most on, just keep going with it. It seems positive. It's, it is mostly a positive omen, but amplifying, keep going, keep vibing, keep being so, shining your light, So, but that oyster shell though, this is between finance and wealth and health and well-being. And the oyster shell is nice because it tells us what we deserve. So it's telling us what we deserve. So you deserve really good health and well-being, and you deserve some finance and wealth, don't we all? So you're deserving of that though. And usually when the oyster shell is what it's trying to tell us is you might not believe you're deserving of that. For some reason, if we're used to being sick in some way, whether it's mental health, physical health, spiritual health, we can start to believe that, other people we see that are healthy, we can start to not really feel like we believe to be as healthy as them. We can just sort of believe that, oh, that'll never be for me, or I'll always have pain when I'm walking upstairs, or, whatever it might be, however it might manifest for you. But your health and well-being is very, very important to you, and you're really deserving of the best. And your finances and wealth are very important to you, and you're also deserving of the best. So what this suggests is it's saying you're deserving of it, but at this point down the line, like in the near future, you'll come to the realization of what you deserve, and you'll stand tall and proud in that. You'll feel like you deserve. You won't look at others with more money and think, oh, I could never do that. You'll look at others with more money and you'll think, I deserve that. I can be there. I deserve that. I can get there if I try. So it's knowing what you deserve. It's a great amplification of the solar plexus chakra in this beautiful oyster shell. And the last section really we have is the home and family. So you do have pointing shell in the home and family. So generally they don't mean much other than where they're pointing, but the home and family might be important because they're pointing to what you deserve mostly. What you deserve is in the oyster shell. So it could be something like someone from your past, from your family. Maybe they brought you down a little bit. Maybe they felt like you weren't good enough. Maybe the reason you don't fully feel like you're deserving of things is because of someone from the home and family. And and maybe why you feel like maybe that you like at your tip top self. Some of us who are trying to lose weight or get to our best job that we can get to, sometimes it was people in the family, or maybe people in the home you live with. If you live with friends, maybe you have friends that put you down. It can be those kind of people who put us down, who are not really believing that we can achieve all that we can achieve. Sometimes might be why that's kind of lingering in that realm, but it's pointing to what we really need to think about, and that is what you deserve, that you are deserving, and you really need to understand that. And if you are understanding it, you need to keep up that understanding, and you need to keep going on your journey, on your path with it. So that was for Liverpool. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope I was a little bit quicker. I do apologize, guys. Do we have anyone in who is still waiting? I'm really happy to read any feedback if you do have any feedback. But I'll just begin to clear the shells for the moment, in case we do have anyone else in waiting. Okay, so adds Ernest. Is it Ernest? Am I saying that right? Ernest Robinson? You're very welcome, of course, you're very welcome. Okay, so we have Flower Beauty back. Who else do we have? Flower Beauty, Kane, Ernest, and Sadia. Okay, so it looks like I don't know if it's my chat or my chat glitching or what, but it looks like Ascended Universal Butterfly is now not here, I think. So I think Sadia is the highest person on the list who is here, who is still here. So we'll begin with Sadia. Well, I'm glad if you enjoy just chilling, listening to someone else's, then I really appreciate that. But we'll just go as we go. So if you jump out, that's fine. Don't worry if you can't wait in. I do understand that some of these readings have taken a little while, so we'll see if we can get through many more. So it'll be Sadia. I think Fabici. Oh, you're here. Okay, that's great. Unfortunately, I do not timestamp. I don't like to timestamp these because this I can't do one for someone who isn't in, whilst other people are in waiting. If it was like right at the end and I had time and no one else is in, I probably would timestamp. But I don't like to do a timestamp on while people are still waiting. So Sadia is fast. Okay, so I'm going to do. Let's just take all of those out. We will make it a little bit shorter if possible. You can see how long a full reading with me would be with one of these, but it will be a lot more in depth at least. And well, the list was Sadia, Flower Beauty, Wolfie Baby Doll, Liverpool has been done now. Ella, but oh wait, sorry. Sadia, Flower Beauty, Rain, Wolfie Baby Doll, Ella, A Standard Universal Butterfly, Kane, and Ernest. But most of those people aren't here anymore. Most of those people aren't here anymore, so I just do roll call as I go, because if people jump out, they jump out. I can't do much about that. So okay. So try with a few last elements and see how we can do it. So this is for Sadia. Shouldn't really have that in there. Oh. So one of them did come off. The love and partnership one did come off. I shouldn't use it if it has come off. Yeah, I'll leave it as is. The Shiva shell has not completely come off. It's at the edge there, as you can see it. So we will use this one. So pretty much your reading's on this half of the mat. So, and the love stone did come off, just come off there. So, so okay. So we have interesting how these two didn't really, roll around or anything, or they just kind of landed exactly how I dropped them. I would say pretty much. So, and they're both in spirit and self, and advice and guidance as well. So that's interesting. So this really speaks to more to your spiritual progression, your spiritual growth, and your spiritual kind of abilities, your own spiritual path, your own spiritual journey, your own kind of spiritual journey, if that makes sense. So you have the positive omen of the chicken foot in the spirit and self. So that can be a positive omen about your self-improvement journey, self-care journey, self-growth, and any kind of spiritual journey that you're on, spiritual healing, spiritual abilities. If you're honing in, tuning in to your own spiritual abilities, you can see a very positive omen with that as well. They're both coming from advice and guidance as well. So it could be that you're seeking the right advice and guidance, you're going to the right readers, or have the right friends to talk to, or listening to the right people online, people who are influencing you a little bit, maybe the right people. So that's quite nice. It's like your intuition is there already, so maybe just a little bit more of a journey of self-discovery and spirituality. So then we do have the foot of the chicken foot, the claws. So it is pointing out a little bit to home and family. So it's showing that you have a lot of spiritual protection of your own self, of your own spiritual self, because it's there. But it's also a little bit pointing to the home and family. So you are going to have some protection as well in your home and around your family, your wider family. So that's always nice. It's always nice when we get spiritual protection in that way. But generally, it's a very positive omen, particularly in regards to your spiritual path, your spiritual journey. Now, the deer antler, so we are seeing that we have the antler, and this is more about things that we need to honestly, but quietly and calmly discuss. It's those kind of discussions where we need to be very mindful. We need to not argue or raise our voice, because that won't help. Because maybe the other person is prone to do that as well. Maybe we need to be extra careful for them, for their sake. So advice and guidance, it begins in the advice and guidance. So it begins in the advice and guidance, and it's coming down into the spirit and self. So for me personally, I would say that this is about going within a little bit more. It's about you taking the time to go within a little bit more, to listen to your own self and to your own thoughts and to your own inner thoughts. Because where we're pointing, where we're landing, is the spirit and the self. Very much does seem to be in relation to your own spiritual journey. But maybe you need a little bit more going within. Maybe you need a bit of a hermit period, hermit chapter, where we just go within, just spend a bit of time alone at times, not all the time, but just going within a little bit and working on oneself, and being very inward with the spiritual journey. And the advice and guidance in that respect would maybe from books, or reading the tarot for yourself, or doing some divination for yourself, something like that. So so then we also have the pointing shell. So the pointing shell it's in the advice section itself already, but it's pointing to the clarity stone, the clear quartz. So you're getting a lot of clarity. You're getting something that's really going to shine a light, hold a light for you, shine a light on things, and really open you up, really shine a light on things. But we're not really seeing so much what exactly is it, because we can get advice and guidance on things all day, especially with tarot readings and all different types of readings that we can get whether you get them from someone else or you do it for yourself, you can do them all day. What is the actual advice about is what we really want to know, what we're going to get clarity on. We might find that when we're looking a little bit more in the other section with the elements, because we have a lack of clarity that's actually further, not further away, closer to us on the time zone. So actually we have unclear, then we have clarity. So this is likely to be the thing we are unclear about. And this is in social and friendships. So there could be, you could have a misunderstanding or a miscommunication with a friend, could have a falling out with a friend, you could have a lies or deceit from a friend. Someone might, scam you or lie to you or do something quite bad to where you, it's kept hidden. It could be kept hidden. So if it's confusion or a misunderstanding, of course, it's not going to be hidden exactly, but you'll get clarity on it here. But if it is deception, if it's like scams, they'll try to keep it under covers. They'll try to keep it under the veil, but you will get clarity on it. So you're going to seek the right advice or guidance. You're going to do these right things, have these right omens as well, to get the clarity out of what this is. When we see the nice progression from smoky quartz unclear to quartz clear, we are seeing that we're getting the answers that we need, but the answers do pertain around your social and your friends groups. So it's something to do with social, something to do with the friends. Can be a friend that you thought was a friend that isn't really a friend, someone lying, talking behind your back. But on the more innocent side of it, it can just be misunderstandings that then become clear and, oh, things are sorted, oh, how nice, But we do also have the oyster shell, which is the things that we deserve, and we may not know we deserve, but it's the things that we deserve. We're maybe coming to the realization that we deserve them more so when we get the oyster shell upright like this. So that's not too distant future as well. So, and this could even be the catalyst, to us understanding what we deserve. So social and friendships, love and partnerships, it's much more on the love and partnership side. So you could be realizing how much you deserve in a love and partnership. You could be realizing how much you deserve, how much is out there for you, how much is available for you, what you really are deserving of, and what you should maybe work on a little bit in terms of your own self-confidence. So, I do deserve love, I deserve what I want in love, I deserve this, this, and this, specifically what I want in love, because you do. The oyster shell is telling you that you do deserve everything you want in a love and partnership, and you do deserve it. So do affirmations on that. Don't let any misunderstanding or lying friend tell you otherwise. You'll get clarity on that anyway. And last but not least, we have the Shiva shell, which the Shiva shell is always linked to our spiritual side, our spiritual gifts, or third eye and crown chakra. Third eye and crown chakra. But as we look sometimes, like with the antler to the point, with the pointing shell to the point, the Shiva shell's point is actually the crevice. We see, we're not looking where it points this way, we're looking where the crevice points, which is to our oyster. The crevice is pointing to our oyster, but also more widely to our love and partnership section. So your third eye and crown are linked to this love and partnership, which means it could be a soulmate, it could be a twin flame. We're seeing very long-lasting connection with this connection because we're seeing a deep spiritual connection come up with this. And we're also being guided to the oyster that you deserve it. You deserve it. So it's not like, some crazy twin flame lessons that maybe will be temporary and then you'll never see them for a long time. It's more of a positive omen when we're getting the Shiva shell in our love and partnerships. It's more of a positive omen, like maybe a soulmate, maybe a close soul family member. Less of that karmic energy, less of that twin flame energy, more of that gentle love, gentle lessons, learning together, not in spite of each other kind of energy, So, but you deserve it. So what you're deserving, of course, it pertains around love, could be this very strong third eye and crown, spiritually connected love, basically. So that was very nice. For Sadia, let me just read the chat here. Thank you, Sadia. Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. Sunflower Love Erica. Hello, welcome. Yes, there is a list I will put you on. Okay, yeah, I've added you to the list. So we have Flower Beauty. I don't know who we still have in from the old list, but so it's, I think, well, I'll read the whole list. Flower Beauty, and then we have Rain and Wolfie Baby Doll, who I don't think are here anymore. Ala, who I also just don't think is here. Ascended Universal Butterfly, Kane, Ernest, and Sunflower. So I think, realistically, I think it'll be Flower Beauty, Ascended Universal Butterfly, Kane, Ernest, and Sunflower Love. That's essentially what I think it will be, because I think a lot of people have jumped out. So, which can happen in these longer readings. It's been a while already. So hopefully I can get a few more done anyway. So the shells. So I'm just going to go completely with guidance on them instead of waiting to see if anybody has a preference or something that they really don't want. I'm just going to go right ahead with my own guidance to make it quicker. But as I said, these are sample readings, even these really long ones. So on my website, when you buy a reading with me, when you book one, they are much more in depth, and all of the elements will be included. They'll be much more in depth than on here. This is like a sample. Okay, so this one is now Flower Beauty. Okay, so this is for Flower Beauty. Ah, okay. Okay, so just thinking where to begin with this one. Let's see. Okay, so most of the shells have landed over here. I'm going to begin with hi Ella. So I don't even know where you are in the queue. No. So I haven't gotten to you yet. I did put you, Rain, and you and Rain and Keita first, but I don't read for people who aren't here. So if I roll call and someone isn't here, we do skip on the list because it's not really fair on people waiting. Um, so just there was a lot of people who jumped out, so I just skipped and we went ahead. Um, so but you can jump back in as a member. You'll still have priority, so you'll still be boosted up. So you would still be after Flower Beauty now. No, it's okay. It's okay. Um, it's just how it goes. So I don't I will say like, is Ella here? Is Ella here? And if not, I will carry on with someone else for a bit. But yeah, you can be after this one. So, but it's fine. Don't worry. So 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 I'll begin with the side. So here we have the what we need to focus on. So what we need to focus on. Sometimes it suggests like learning, like reading books or going to courses, going to school, things like that. But when it lands in our social, friendship, or love partnership section, it's more about what we need to focus on, or what you might be focusing on at the moment, what you might really feel like you need to focus on. A bit more focus might be needed on the love and partnership path, because actually the oyster's upside down, which suggests, because we get this oyster, and the oyster is always about what we deserve. It is always about deserving in some way, but when it's upside down, it's more like we're not really understanding what we deserve, or we're not sure of what we deserve, or we could be going for people who aren't what we deserve, that but we think we deserve them. It's that kind of energy of like, maybe I mean, I'm sure with some people they go for people who are like, they don't like, you could read for someone who doesn't work on themselves at all, but for somehow expects themselves to get this most amazing person that has everything. You can get it that way, I'm sure you can. But generally, reading for guys like you guys, very empathetic, very nice, kind people. I would say you're probably underestimating what you deserve. You might be looking in the wrong directions, or underestimating what you deserve. So you need to focus on the love path, because it does seem like there's something coming in on the love path. We can see clarity on the love path, and I feel like this is clarity of knowing who the person is, knowing who the person is on the path at this time. So of course it's not very close to the center, it's more distant future. But I do feel like what you deserve and what you feel you deserve, there needs to be a little bit of a think about that, a little bit of maybe a flip around of things, because it doesn't seem like you really understand your what you truly deserve. And there's not more I can say about that. It doesn't really. So focus a little bit more on your love path. Again, maybe weigh options, pros and cons. What do I really want on this path? What am I not so concerned with? And then we weigh that up and see if we're manifesting this correct person, other than maybe the people who are coming into the path who, yeah, they might be great in their own way, and maybe they like look nice or something like that, but they don't have the whole package. They're not all rounded. They're not there in mind, body, and spirit. So you deserve more. You deserve a more holistic, more rounded connection. So let's look at finance and wealth. That's one. So finance and wealth is interesting because the first one that we're looking at here is this show, which is like not the way we want it, basically. So it's saying that you're not really hearing something, you're not really listening to something, or hearing something, or taking some advice, or something like that. Hearing something, seeing something, taking some advice. Something's being trying to be showed to you or told to you. This can be from trusted people, or it can be from um spirit guides, maybe. If you receive spirit guide messages about things, they could be trying to guide you on the positive path of finance and wealth. Our spirit guides do want us to succeed. If succeeding in our 3D physical realm will help with our path, our mission, then of course they'd want that. So maybe they're trying to give you signs and symbols to get there. You're not quite listening. Your ear isn't in the right place of where it could be with finance and wealth. So maybe you should think about that. Maybe you should try to be a bit more intuitive about where you're guided on the path of money and finances, because it does seem like you could achieve more, or get more, or get to somewhere better. The possibility is there, otherwise it wouldn't even land in this section, it would land in a different section. So although it's the wrong way and it's saying, you're not hearing it right, you're not getting the right message, it's in this section for a reason. It wants you to know that you could be getting the right message. We could get the shell like this in the finance and wealth section, we're just not quite there yet. So maybe use your intuitive guidance to help you with that. But yeah, but you're also getting here the fox tooth as well. So the fox tooth in finance is interesting because generally the fox tooth it's quite a it's so teeth in a reading, they always have to do with communication and self-expression. So they're the two things: communication, which can be hearing or listening, and self-expression. So it can be hearing. Oh, you can't see that, can you? The fox tooth, it's there. The fox tooth's there. So it can be communication, whether that's listening or hearing. So this is hearing, but this can be listening or hearing. And it can also be self-expression as well. So it could be, the way you express yourself is an issue with how you're bringing in your finances. But the thing about the fox tooth specifically is that the fox is about not really being to blame. The fox has quite an innocence about it. The fox is kind of like, there's the vulnerability somewhere, and usually with the fox tooth, it's someone has brought you down. Someone has pushed you down in your ranks and how you view yourself or who you are as a person, because they've always made you feel small, or always made you feel worthless, or always made you feel like you always have to be on your toes. It's usually someone else to blame when it's the fox tooth. It's usually like your you've been held down or held back or made to feel vulnerable, and it's not really your fault, so you're not really at fault. But you might be portraying yourself outwardly like that. So you might be, maybe you've healed that, maybe you've healed this blame, or this, whoever this person was, this bully, it can be. But that could be a bully from childhood, and maybe you've grown out of that, maybe you've forgiven them or healed from that. But you still could be carrying yourself in that way. You might still seem unworthy, you might still seem small the way you're carrying yourself. So sometimes with finance and wealth, we do need to carry ourselves, quite confidently, to be seen by the right people, to attract those right people into us. So do think about that. Is it that you kind of need to release these people who are putting blame onto you or who've made you vulnerable? Is there still some healing to be done there? Or do you just need to now show outwardly that doesn't hold you back anymore? You're super confident now. Do you just need to show that outwardly? So then we have our pointing shell is pointing directly to our love stone. So that's very nice. And we're not seeing that in the too distant future. It's not in the present, but it's not too distant. That's the love. That's the love. So we do really have to think about this, knowing what we deserve on that path, because love does seem to be coming. So maybe that's why they're pretty similar time frames away from the center. So maybe you do really need to think about who you deserve to get this love path, to get there. Because also the clarity you're getting and the confusion, or whatever because this is clarity and this is the opposite of clarity. So this is having the wool pulled over your eyes, this is deception, or it could just be confusion or misunderstanding, but something when things are not quite clear to you and you're getting clarity here. So it's interesting, can they be linked? Sometimes when they line up quite similarly like that, they can be linked. But don't forget, this is the love and partnership section, this is the health and well-being section. So this, whatever is being hidden here, doesn't necessarily have to relate to the love path, because something's being hidden in your health and well-being, and that could be that there's something going on behind the scenes, of your mental health, of your physical health, something that's not quite right. It could just be something like intolerance, or a slight issue. Like it doesn't have to be a huge health issue, but it could just be something that maybe you need to get seen, or maybe you need to get checked just to be sure. Maybe you get a few little symptoms and you're like, I'm not really sure what that is, I could ignore it, it's not that bad. Don't ignore it, definitely don't ignore it. There's definitely, when there's something being hidden, in the health and well-being section, I would definitely say take more note of your symptoms. Symptoms that all of us might usually ignore that are really small. You might benefit with just taking a bit more care into those, because there could be some help for you there. So just think about that. But the love coming is really, really positive, but do know that you are deserving of it. Don't let it pass you by. And we have the chicken foot. It's going from health and well-being, so this is a positive omen, don't forget. But I don't really feel like this thing is too bad. But I feel like, maybe it's just something where you just need to get it checked as soon as possible, and then it's great, Like, what can you say? Like, if you I don't know, if you cut yourself at work or something, and it just needs to be thoroughly washed out so you don't get any nasty bacteria. You know what I mean? If we wash a cut out before anything bad happens, we get all the bacteria out and we're fine. But if you left it and you didn't, it could be bad. So I don't really feel like it's anything super negative, but just be mindful of that. Because you're getting your positive omen. It's going from health and well-being, but it's mostly in the home and family section. So this can be a positive omen for the whole family. It could be the family coming together. It could be issues within the family getting resolved. But it could also be the home. So if you're looking for your own home, looking to move out, looking to buy, rent, get a better deal on your mortgage, anything like to do with your own home and mortgage and money, it can be a positive omen on that as well. So that's really nice. And also the clause of protection. So stopping anything from getting in the way negatively from you, your family, and your home. So you've got quite a nice protection there, spiritual protection in your home and family section. So that was Flower Beauty. So let's see. So is Alice still here now? Yes, amazing. So we'll go with Ella next. Oh, I have to choose them first. Right. Have these two from that. Waste them. Okay. This is for Ella. You're very welcome. I'm really, really glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ah, a lot of them fell off. I'm going to bring, I'll show you. So these ones fell off there at the sides. I'm going to bring this one back on because it didn't quite fall off. It was just hanging off the edge, but we'll still leave it at the edge. We will bear in mind to come back to it. So interesting. Sometimes, don't forget, we do go by time frame of current chapter, and then as we head out, it's more further future. And sometimes we just have a lot of energy going on right now, and maybe we're still manifesting or planning for the future. Maybe the future isn't set in stone for us right now, it can be like that sometimes. So wasn't worry about where they land. It's all good. So we have your Shiva shell is in your, the centerpiece, the yin yang sun. That is pretty, like imminent. Like that's the present moment pretty much. So you have the Shiva shell in there. It has landed upside down, which means there may be something blocking your crown and third eye a little bit. You might not fully be getting the message that you need. You might not fully be getting messages that you need come through, either from your own intuition or from your guides and the universe, if you will. Thank you guys, just reading that. Thank you very much. So yeah, so you might not be getting the exact messages that you need, whether that's from your internal intuition or from your guides and angels and things like that. But we do look at where the crevice of the shell points, and that is to the oyster here in the career and business section. So our oyster has actually landed the right way that we want it to land. It's just being weighed down by our chicken foot. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But let's look at the oyster. So as we know, the oyster is all about what we deserve. It's about what we deserve, what we it's we may not know that we deserve it. We may not fully understand how much we deserve this thing, or we may just need a little bit of a push to fully believe in ourselves to be deserving. Because sometimes on our path, the thought of us deserving money might not even cross our minds, and so we just seek something that, you know, where we don't even really think about the monetary exchange, so much. But this is finance and wealth section, and this is the career and business section, and your oyster shell is split between them, as you can see. It's split between them, so it is showing how much you really do deserve, not just finance and wealth, but the career and business that you want as well. So if there is not just that you deserve finances, which could be winnings or unexpected gain from something else. It's career and business, so it is more linked to that. What is your dream job, or what do you really want to do? You do have deserving of that. So, if you don't feel like you do, maybe work a little bit on that solar plexus because you're deserving of what you desire in a monetary sense, and that's really what this is showing. And also to look at the chicken foot, because the chicken foot is kind of holding on to our oyster, so we kind of have to go there next. We're beginning with home and family. So it's a positive omen to home and family, and also the pointing shell is in the home and family section, which is interesting as well. So we do have some energy in the home and family section. Now the home and family can be the home, safety, security, the home as in where you're living, the location you want to spend your life. If you're looking to buy an apartment or get a mortgage or anything like that, it can be about that. So the chicken foot can give a really positive omen for the things that you want in the home, like the actual physical home and location, but also for the family as well. Positive omen for what you want in a family. Do you want to be raising a family? Just, however the family manifests to you or what the family is to you, a positive omen there. But it's also spanning through the health and well-being section. So we're seeing as well that you deserve and you have a positive omen of health and well-being. So very positive health and well-being at the moment. So health and well-being, of course, is mental health, physical health, even spiritual health. So if you're feeling like you're unbalanced a little bit in any of those areas at the moment, um, just think about that and maybe try to focus on the one where you do feel a little bit more out of balance, because it certainly is coming into balance. Because not only do you have the positive omen that the chicken foot brings, but you have the abundance stone in the health and well-being section. Now that's interesting because it's kind of on the line a little bit, that squiggly line between health and well-being and wealth and finance. So that could even give an extra kind of boost to your abundant capabilities, because it is the sunstone, which is the abundance stone. But sometimes when we get the abundance stone in health and well-being, it can mean that our job role is going to be somewhere surrounding health and well-being. So whether that's like a nurse or a doctor or a social worker, or maybe light worker or energy worker or something like that. Um, Even if it's indirectly affects like health and well-being, like, I don't know, you own a gym, something like that. You're or you um have your own business and you stock all sorts of things, but one of them might be some protein powders or some health equipment. It doesn't have to be directly linked to health and well-being. It can be a little bit kind of touching on it, but it can be it but if it's linked to money as well, it could be like that. But it could literally just be saying an abundance of health, an abundance of health. So it's nice either way, whichever way it comes up. But it's usually an abundance of health, but can sometimes give an insight into the work you'll be doing if the work has some involvement surrounding health and wellness. So the protection, the claw foot of the chicken foot, the claw, um, is we do see protection. So we'll have protection in home and family. We'll have protection, health and well-being, but mostly finance and wealth, because it's where the claw actually lands, is where we get the most protection. And it does sometimes mean that there's things trying to come at you, so like negative spirits or psychic attacks or people that want to tear you down, people who don't want to see you succeed. A lot of the time they can come up, but the claw claws them. It grabs them away. So that's really positive, that you're having spiritual protection for your finance and wealth. So that's very nice. And we do also have, in the social and friendship, we have the antler. So the antler begins a bit further out here in social and friendship, but it's pointing to the center. It's pointing to more imminent here and now. So it might be saying to you that you do have to have some very gentle, quiet conversations. Maybe you're having them now around social and friendships. You know, there might be some very gentle conversations that you're having, whether that's about your own friendships and connections to yourself or with your friends about certain things. You know, it could just be that you're seeking advice from friends and you're telling them about these different things very calmly. But being calm and collected in these conversations is the main important thing. But it's the way it's pointing to the here and now is telling me it's likely something you've already begun to have conversation around. So what I would say is, you're going to have to keep checking in. You're going to have to keep discussing these things, making sure you're seeking advice maybe from friends, being mindful. But the one thing you're going to have to continue to do as these conversations kind of evolve over time, as this situation unfolds, you're going to have to make sure you are calm and collected and a mediator. Do not let these conversations turn to arguments. Do not let them turn into big conflicts, you know. We have to stay calm with the antler. So calm conversations are happening right now. As they progress down the time frame line, we want them to stay calm and collected. The only other thing to point out is the clear quartz, which really wanted to stay, whereas your other two stones did not, in the health and wellness, financial wealth section. So it's really interesting because it's right at the edge, but it's clarity. It's clarity, things coming to the forefront, clarity, getting very clear on the situation. So if any of this in the current chapter doesn't make sense, especially regarding finance and wealth, it will become clear in the more distant future. So it could be that these things that you deserve, this thing that you might be being guided to, maybe it does revolve around health and wellness in some way, could become more clear as you go. But yeah, career and business and what you deserve and all of those things, maybe you get more clarity on what this more abundant thing is available to you further down the line. And that was Allah. So do we have uh, Ascended Universal Butterfly? You're very welcome, of course, you're very welcome. Oh, Wolfie, did you jump back in? A pharmacy, yeah, so that makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah, Wolfie. Okay. So this is for Wolfie Baby Doll. I just have to get my crystals back. Choose my crystals here. I want this one. So this is for Wolfie Baby Doll. Oh, didn't want the smoky quartz then. That's okay. Okay, interesting how you're very similar here, where the oyster and the chicken foot both wanted to be touching each other here. So very interesting. So it's just interesting how they've landed thinking where to begin with it. So this is career and business, social and friends. Okay, so let's begin with the oyster. Our oyster is, of course, when it lands this way, the right way up, as we say. The oyster is what, yeah, it's your reading now, yes. Yeah, so it's after you, it's, sorry, Ascended Universe Butterfly, Kane Mason, Ernest Roberts. So, so when the oyster lands this way, it is, it's the right way. So it's telling us like what we deserve. It's what we deserve, but sometimes don't know that we deserve. Um, it's either like we don't know that we deserve it, or we might kind of know we deserve it, but we might not be getting it from the right place. If that makes sense, like it's like, for example, partners. You know, if the oyster's telling us that we deserve love, that might be because we're not really getting the right kind of love from the relationship we're in, you know? So it might be saying, you know, if you were in a very bad relationship, the oyster might try to tell you, you deserve more than that in love, you know? But this oyster, it's in career and business and social and friends, social and friendships. So it's telling us that you have, think that there are things that you deserve in career and business, so on your money path, but particularly pertaining to, because we have finance and wealth, we have career and business. The career and business is more linked to the field that you want to be in. So it's saying that, you know, you deserve to reach that field that you want to work in. You deserve to be kind of respected, or to have a stake in, or to, you know, to chase that dream of that specific field that you really want to work in. You deserve that. And social and friends. You might not have had the best friends. You might have been taken for granted in the past. Maybe there's some issue going on like that, where you've been taken for granted or something, because it seems like you're deserving of friendships, social and friendships. And this could lead, because because it's overlapping. I couldn't think of that word. Because it's overlapping with career and business, it might be saying that you deserve the networking side of social and business. You know, it might be a networking thing that's coming up here that you're deserving of as well. But these are all things that actually are they're very, if you see where we have landed, these two have landed on the centerpiece, so we know that this is very near future, very close current chapter, near future kind of energy. So you need to understand what you do deserve in your career and business, and in your social and friends, otherwise you're not going to get there, you know what I mean? So Lisa, I'm happy to add you. I'm so sorry. I am happy to add you, but yeah, it might be best to catch me next time because of how long it does take. Were you on the list? I don't have you on my list. So I don't know when you came in. Let's see. Did you just come in? Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, you'll still be at the end there. I think everyone else was already. Yeah. Wait, are you still on the list? I don't have you on the list. If I've made some mistake or something, I'm very sorry. Oh, from the last live. No. Yeah, I started brand new this time because it's just too many people jump in and out, and I keep priority, and then those people wouldn't come on to the next stream. So I just started afresh with this one this month. Um, but I can add you. We'll do a priority today, so I'll add you to the end here, and I will do a priority for next time today, because it likely will be tomorrow. To be honest, the next reading will probably be tomorrow. So sorry. So we are on. It's. I'm even forgetting who I'm reading for here. Oh my gosh, no! Don't do this to me. It's Wolfie, isn't it? It is Wolfie. Yeah, yeah, it is Wolfie. Oh gosh. Okay. So remembering what you deserve. And I was saying about career and business, social and friendship, and the centerpieces being like very, very in the current chapter, pretty much. Current chapter, maybe very, very, very near future, very, very close near future. And we also have the chicken foot, the positive omen of the chicken foot here, which is, you know, the positive omen, like the chicken foot always trying to kind of be in the oyster shell. It's kind of positive in itself because, you know, it's shining a positive light, it's almost like saying it's giving a positive omen to career and business and to social and friendships as well. So it's adding that extra positive energy to those two sections, even though it's not really in those two sections itself. Itself is in more. So you're getting a positive omen in the very center of the centerpiece, which rarely covers all bases, which is the true meaning of the chicken foot anyway, because the true meaning of the chicken foot is all around look, all over look, you know? It's all over look. So to get it right in the center, it is saying you have a very all around look, or a very positive look energy. And it's positive, it's highly positive. But it's a positive omen in all areas. So, you know, if this reading doesn't talk specifically about the one area you want to look at, then at least you can take the positive omen from the chicken foot. But your protection, particularly from the foot, the claw here, the protection, you're particularly getting protection around your spiritual self, spiritual protection, and your home and family. So maybe the home that you reside in, safety there, and protection around your family as well, and your spiritual self. So let's look at the stag antler. It comes from love and partnership, but it goes to social and friendships. So that's quite interesting because what we're seeing is that it's about gentle conversations. It's about being very gentle and honestly discussing things, but keeping things gentle, not allowing things to erupt into too much emotion or into arguments or heated debates or anything like that. We want to be very, very calm, very, very clear, and just be mindful and just be honest but calm, not letting any arguments creep in. And it goes from love and partnerships to social and friendships. So I suppose it's about being careful, maybe being the mediator in some conversations that happen. Maybe being the one who has to calm things down a little bit at times. But generally, it's just all around, I would say, because it's in both of your social sections, being very mindful with what you're saying. Being very mindful with what you're saying because, you know, maybe to not hurt people's feelings, maybe to make sure that you get what you want out of the conversation as well. When people abrupt and erupt, they don't we don't get our part. It's give and receive, isn't it? So just being very mindful about conversations at the moment, being as calm and as collected as you possibly can be, whether that's networking, whether that's in love relationships, whether that's with friends, family, anything like that. Just trying to keep your cool head on as much as possible in those conversations. Then we have the finance and wealth section. We have there, which is, so first of all, we have the love stone, we have the grounding stone, and we have the buffalo tooth. So that's interesting. So the, actually, let's look at health and well-being first, because this is the pointing shell. So the pointing shell is coming from health and well-being. It's showing something about health and well-being being of importance. It could be to look after your health a little bit more, or just be mindful about your health. Just a very general kind of, nothing bad, but just maybe you might like to take a bit of extra care and attention to this section. But it's pointing ultimately to the center where we have the positive omen. So it could even be saying there's a positive improvement in your health and well-being at the moment. Maybe you are someone who has sought a certain medication or therapist or holistic therapist or healer or energy worker or medication. Anything you might have sought for health and well-being in mind, body and spirit, you will get. You will get it because it's showing a very positive omen. It's pointing to this positive omen and saying positive omen in health and well-being as well. So that's very nice. But in this section, we have our grounding stone, our love stone, and our buffalo tooth. And this is finance and wealth. So it shows, first of all, there's something that is very grounding. And this resonates with the protection in the home, because this is saying that you're going to feel very grounded. So you might you might find yourself rooted somewhere, like you might find the location you want to live in, or you might find the right apartment or home for yourself. You might how else can I say, you might get you might feel more at home because your money is alleviated. Maybe you get more money for your mortgage or something like that, so you have more money for the home. It's about being grounded in some way. So you might move into a home, or someone in your home might move out and make you, sometimes we live with people, and when someone moves out and they've gone, we now feel more at home because we feel more comfortable. So it can be someone moving out, someone moving in. It's just a positive omen about the home, about feeling safe, secure, grounded, positive within the home location. So that's just a nice one. But where it links to finance and wealth, it can extend to feeling very comfortable in a job as well. So it can be feeling rooted in a job. Maybe you move job, or someone leaves your job and then makes you feel more comfortable within that job. And it could even be working from home as well. It can be working from home as well. And then we have the love as well, the love stone that we're seeing here, which is mostly in the finance and wealth section. There could be a little bit in the health and well-being, which could indicate that this person's good for your mental and physical health, which is nice. Maybe they're supportive of any mental health or physical ailments you have. Maybe they're supportive of that. But mostly they're in the finance section, which could suggest that they have a good job, or they're, doing well for themselves. But it could even suggest that you meet at work. You might meet at the workplace. But maybe, we can still get the love stone and be in a relationship already. Maybe sometimes what happens is our partner begins to make more money, and that's why they fall into the finance and wealth section. Could always be rooting for the partner to make more money. So we have that as well. but it's a positive love omen in the finance section. Maybe they have more money or good money, or maybe you meet at work. And then the buffalo tooth in finance and wealth. Don't be shy, don't be scared. You have to express yourself clearly. You have to stand firmly in what you believe in. You have to be very open with what you believe in. You have to express yourself very boldly, very clearly, very confidently. You cannot be shy and talking small where your finances are involved. You have to stand for what you believe in. You have to really express yourself very boldly and clearly, and you have to be really making sure that you are standing up for what you believe in, self-promoting sometimes, putting yourself out there, pushing yourself and feeling good about yourself, being very confident. But don't think we touched on the abundance stone here. So we have the abundance stone here, in spirit and self. So generally it will be an abundance of spiritual capability. So it could be, your guides really guiding you, your own spiritual gifts and abilities becoming very clear. You having a lot of safety and security around that, seeing signs and synchronicities very clearly. Spiritual abundance, a lot of spiritual energy, a lot of spiritual clarity, and a lot of spiritual gifts. So very nice messages for spirituality. Maybe even resonating with other people with very spiritual gifts as well. So that was for Wolfie there. So do we have Ascended Universal Butterfly, Kane, Ernest, Sunflower, or Lisa? Are any of you guys left here? I think Ascended Universal Butterfly, I think you've been in for the majority of the time, so I'm definitely going to do yours. I don't have too much time left now, so we'll see if we can get any further from that. But we will be doing Ascending Universal. Oh, I can't even say it now. Ascended Universal Butterfly. We will be doing your one today. Okay, I just disconnected, so I don't know what happened, but I'm here back now, I think. Okay, Mason, thank you very much for waiting. Okay, so we'll go on to Universal Butterfly, and then hopefully we will have time for Kane as well, because I do appreciate that, and with you being new as well, just having that patience, I really do appreciate that. So yeah, let's see. Bear with me one moment, guys. If you can just wait just a moment. I really hope that does not buffer. Okay. So please like the video if you haven't liked it already. I greatly appreciate that. If you realise you haven't liked it, please do like it. So if we do not make it to today, I think we're not very likely to make it to rain. Ernest, Sunflower, and Lisa. You guys will be priority on the next one, so I do greatly appreciate everyone popping in, even if you don't get a reading. I really appreciate that. So, but let's begin with, sorry, Universal Butterfly. That's what I'm up to now. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do those three. I'm going to do... This is for Universal Butterfly. I mean, there's more to them than that. Ascending Universal Butterfly. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience as well. And we will be doing more of the bone readings throughout the whole of this month. And the mat will look better when it has the names on it, the titles on it clearer. So hopefully you can get another one when it's done, fully done. Okay. Okay. So just where to start? When they land all so close, it's like, where do I start? Okay. So so we have, I think this is the most interesting one probably. Yeah. I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship? Is there something, an issue going on with the family, or that has gone on with the family in the past, like a conflict, or not something not great in childhood or something like that? Maybe is what we're seeing, but let's see, because we have yeah, because it's really interesting, because you have, so home and family here, it's like focus on this area, which is home and family. Now, don't forget that home can be the location. It can be, the home or the location you want to live in, or homes, apartments, flats, and things like that itself. Um, so it doesn't always link to the actual birth family. It can be more about the home, like the location, the physical part of the home can be like that. When it's saying so when it's saying focus, it can be like focus on the family. But when it's saying focus, because the focus stone usually also tells us that it's something we might need to study. We might need to study in some way. That can be interesting, because some of us do go on to do, to be like landlords, I don't know what you call them, or real estate agents, realtors, things like that. Anything to do with home, to do with buying and selling homes, that kind of thing, can come up with that. It can come up with the focus stone. It can simply be telling you where to focus, like maybe you just need to focus on your own home or on your own personal family. But sometimes, because it's the study stone, it can be saying there might be something more to that in terms of buying and selling homes as well. But you have the like stress, anxiety, self-confidence kind of stone as well in the home and family section. So it could be that there's something like any stresses, anxieties, uh, stresses, anxieties, un- unconscious fears, maybe even, that are in the home or the family. So it could be an unconscious, it could be as simple as, you have an unconscious fear about your house being broken into, or you know what I mean, like something that we're all scared of, rarely to some degree, but we don't really think about happening. Is it playing on your mind or something like that? Is it giving you anxieties? Just things like that. It suggests that um, improving an improving of your self-esteem and releasing of anxieties, doubts, and fears is coming. But these anxieties, doubts, and fears may revolve around the home. They may revolve around the family. But the self-esteem, of course, revolves around yourself. So how, maybe your own self-esteem, your own growth and confidence helps as well with your home and family, could do. But focusing on your family quite closely. If you do have fears, and if they are fears like I mentioned about, break-ins and things like that, could just be focusing on getting the right security systems in place and things like that. It could be very, very 3D physical things that we're looking at here. But there's some level of focus needed and some level of fears and worries and doubts drifting away eventually, which is nice. But then we have the Shiva shell, which it's the right way up. So when you get the Shiva shell the right way up, you are seeing some positive advancements in your own third eye and crown chakra. So your own third eye and crown chakra. But when we look at the point of the Shiva shell, we're looking at the point of the crevice, not the point of the point, if that makes sense. So the crevice points this way, which is the home and family again. So what we're kind of seeing here is you you have protection. You have spiritual abilities. Maybe that you're being called to use them for your family. Maybe there's someone in your family who needs your abilities. If you're a light worker in the way that you're a healer, then maybe someone from your family needs your healing, or maybe you're being called to maybe the family will let you practice on them. Your own gifts, because it seems like you do have them. But that it's in the advice and guidance section as well. So it could even be that you have your own gifts, you're awakening them, but any advice and guidance that you're seeking surrounding this, your family might help with. Maybe your family might help with that, or maybe the gifts are or that you're good at advice and guidance. Maybe your gifts aren't healing. Maybe your gifts are reading tarot. Maybe you want to practice with the family. So it can go either way with that, but it does show some positive messages about your third eye and crown chakra opening up a little bit. So you could even be beginning to get more angel messages and things like that. But let's look at our health and well-being section. We have the love stone falls in our health and well-being section, which could just be the very general, the person you're going to come across in love in the very near future. It's going to be good for you. Sometimes we worry, sometimes we doubt. Are they going to be good for us, or are they going to, cause us more pain and suffering? They're going to be good for you in health and well-being. So good for your mind, body, and spirit is what I was trying to say. Good for your mind, body, and spirit. So they're all going to be a nice, holistic, very positive person there. Nice, positive love connection. They're pretty close to your here and now. They're pretty close to the present. So maybe you already know of them in some way, maybe you're already with them. But it could just be a positive omen that they are good for your health and well-being. They are good for your your mind, body, and spirit. Just a positive omen about this person. Any doubts you might have about them, they do seem good for you. But we also have the finance and wealth and the career and business. And your chicken foot is totally in both of those. So although it's over the line, it's only over the line between finance and wealth and career and business. So it's totally in your money section, which is great because that means a positive omen in money and spiritual protection from anything trying to get you to your money. So that's very good, very nice, where we want it. And then you have the pointing shell is pointing at this stone specifically, but this section, the love and partnership section. Now this is interesting because the blue stone here, can't remember what it's called, I'm sorry, but that stone, put it back where it was. That stone, it's more about something positive. I won't go exactly where it was, but it's more about something positive coming to light. But it's not like the smoky quartz where this can be this can be something like the wool pulled over your eyes, something hidden from you, deception, misunderstanding. This is more like it's a positive surprise, a pleasant surprise. So it could be, for example, if you are only just realizing who this person is, maybe they've always just been an acquaintance. Maybe you're not partners yet, and if you see the time that this person comes in is quite similar to the time that this stone's appearing, and when we see the time frame as like a circle, um, it could be that suddenly understanding who this person is going to be a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, I thought we were just friends, but that's nice, pleasant surprise. So it could be a pleasant surprise. And it doesn't have to be linked to them, but it's in the love and partnership section. So the pleasant surprise is going to be surrounding love and partnerships in some way, in some shape or form. Partnerships can extend to friendships and things like that as well, though. It doesn't have to be love. But we're getting here also the grounding stone in love and partnerships. So this is interesting, because if it was further on into the future, or if I knew a bit more about your situation, and maybe you've been with someone for a long time, I could say something like moving in together, or you know at least you go and go over to their place a lot, maybe leaving some of your things there, something like that. It's really positive, like maybe finding out where each other lives and spending a bit of time there. It can kind of go like that. In the very grounding stone when it comes to love and partnership. The feeling safe to invite them over, feeling safe and secure that they're the right person to invite over, or it's things like that. It's things like that. Or maybe the workplace, because it can be home and work, anything that's very root chakra, safety, security, money, finances. So it can be money and finances as well. So maybe um, if you have a workplace that's nice to chill, like a food place, or they have a workplace where maybe it's nice to meet somewhere there, you know, or maybe you meet at work, that could be another one, something like that. But anything to do with like work, finances, the homes, very positive omen for the love connection there in the pretty soon future. But what we do get here with the buffalo tooth is you're being called to not hold back on your bold, vibrant energy, expressing the person that you are. So, sometimes we can want to seem a bit agreeable and, kind of, we'll just go with what they want to do and we'll just go with the flow. You're being called to stand up for what you believe in, talk about your likes, your dislikes, be very strong, be very firm and bold. Don't be too, I don't want to say agreeable, because agreeable sounds like a nice thing, but you know what I mean. Don't be too like, oh yeah, I just like what you like and I'll just do what you want to do. Hold your own in that respect of, well, I like this and I like that and this is what I think, it's that balance between you're not being selfish, but you're also not giving everything to them, you still have the right to say what you want and how you want things to go as well. But the interesting one, and that's nice, everyone wants that in a connection, a balance where we're both having equal input, really. But the the only bad one, really, here, I would say, is the foxtooth landing in love and partnerships. Now, we could be seeing this because um, this could, unfortunately, it can indicate a twin flame connection, because the fox is being chased. The fox is chased. That's like hunted is the worst way to say it, but the fox is being chased, and that's why the fox tooth is usually telling us that maybe we've been vulnerable too much with someone, or maybe we are being bullied or something like that. It's usually you're doing something that's not your fault, or you're not to blame, or you're being too vulnerable, or it's a twin flame kind of connection. So it can be like that. But I would say if someone is telling you that things are your fault that aren't, they may be trying to sabotage this relationship. So I think as well, you have to think that the fox tooth could be a symbol of someone that's going to try to influence your relationship, because we're getting very positive omens about the connection that I highly doubt, unless it's just saying it's a twin flame. If it's just saying it's your twin flame, that's fine. But if it's not just saying that and it is saying the other things like bullying or blaming you when it's not your fault, that to me speaks more about someone that might be trying to um um how can I say it, destroy the connection, sabotage the connection. So I would be mindful of what that is. If you don't feel like this person is your twin flame, watch out for any jealousy, watch out for anyone going to put blame on you for something you didn't do, or try to maybe say you cheated when you didn't, or you know what I mean, just a general sabotaging of a relationship. Be very mindful about that. So yeah, that was Ascended Universal Butterfly. So I hope you did enjoy your reading. Thank you so much for joining and for waiting on so long as well. I greatly appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Love, light, and blessings. Thank you for waiting so long. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again soon. Okay, so I think we will be ending there. Um, Anyone on the list? Let's see. Yeah, so we have Kane Mason, Ernest Robinson, Sunflower Love, Erica777, and Lisa. So you four, oh, and Rain as well, and Rain. So you five will be prioritized for the next one tomorrow. So let me know if you are really looking for your reading. Sorry, if you are really excited for your reading and you want to get in touch with me, and let me know your time zone, because this is quite a normal time for me to begin streaming. But I can tomorrow I can actually do as early as maybe 12 noon GMT. So if you are a different time zone, then yeah, feel free to get in touch with me off stream and we can discuss that, because if this is not a great time for you, noon GMT may be better. So but yeah, feel free to ask me any questions, message me off stream for anything that you would like. And I really, really hope to see you again on the next one. So shout out to Kane, Ernest, Sunflower Love, Lisa, and Rain, as you will be prioritized on our next stream. So I really, really hope you can make it. It probably will be tomorrow morning. Love, light, and blessings.